the suppression of the use of marijuana and of the forces lurking behind it are the most important jobs this department is now engaged in. In 1930, the records on marijuana in the Washington office of the Narcotics Division scarcely filled a small folder like this. Today, they fill cabinets.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Coloradians and everyone that's smart enough to listen from the outside.
It's one of the most amazing plants we've ever discovered.
The pot party, the trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Stoned Appetit with your host. As always, it's me, Kip, with I've got so much energy. It's like a baby bird. And across the screen, I've got CB, who looks nearly lifeless. How are you, Chris?
Got to get me out of here, man. Send out the SOS.
Wait, you don't want to stick around New Orleans for another, couple months or anything like that?
Oh man, I mean, it's fantastic, and I've had too much. I gotta get out of here for my own health.
There is no such thing as too much in New Orleans, but we're going to dive into that whole kit and caboodle. We're going to recap Kip's small town Colorado reviews, and we're going to dive into being published yet again from the Denver Post and the Denver Westward. We're fired up to talk about the great places to eat during the holidays. But before we dive into all of that, let's give a shout out to our sponsors. Obviously, it's a big week with the 420 crowd descending upon Denver, but it's also a big week for our friends over at Ritual Colorado. We're officially celebrating the 1-year anniversary of our friends Ritual. If you don't know, Ritual is right now digital only smoke shop. You can buy sorts of rigs, dry vapes, bongs, pipes, all the gadgets you may need to catch a fade, whether it be for 420, whether it be for 5-1, 5-2, 5-3, it doesn't fucking matter. They've got something for everybody. And if you get your order in by today, you should still be able to capitalize on the 420 specials. That's right. They have 15 to 20% off store-wide. Just go to www.ritual-co.com and check out the whole selection. If you don't know, now you know, motherfuckers. They're actually opening up a brick and mortar right there on Sheridan near the Edgewater Public Market, right next door to Joyride, catty corner to the Sloan's Lake area. So if you happen to be in the Sloan's Lake, maybe your dog knocks your rig off the table, shatters it on those fake hardwood floors you have in your new cookie cutter fuck box home in Sloan's Lake, then they've got the replacement for you. Go check out our friends Ritual. They've got something for everyone, from the first time smokers that don't want to be intimidated by the smoke shop to the high-end neckbeard crowd looking for those one-off pieces of artwork to hang on your counters or on your mantle. Ritual's got something for everybody. Woo! And then don't forget our friends over at Breckenridge. Chris, the weather's getting ripe as can be. It's mojito season. We're talking rums. It's vodka season. We're talking greyhounds. It's warm weather vibes. And luckily for us, our friends at Breckenridge Distillery have more than just the award-winning whiskey. Yeah, whiskey's great to take the edge off after a night or a long day of work, but also they have the whole gamut, the whole product line. There's something for everyone there as well. So maybe you're not a smoker, maybe you're a drinker, maybe you're an eater. Well, if that's the case, swing over to your local liquor stores, maybe your Molly's, your Argonauts, your Proofs, your Spirits, Wines, Provisions, your Joys, or your Mr. B's. They've got the Breckenridge Distiller products that you crave and you definitely need on your shelf this year. Check them out. That's Breckenridge Distillery, brewed right here in Colorado and currently up for USA Today's top 10 best craft whiskey.
Well
All
done,
right.
sir.
Thanks, dude. I'm firing on all cylinders because I have not gone 100 to 0 in the last 5 days like you have, and you look haggard as fuck.
I mean, it's just been nonstop action, like in between doing work stuff, I got to hit some spots. So I think I've hit most of the dime spots.
Chris, you seem to have done New Orleans in a 4-day period about as well as you can be expected. For those that maybe have missed it on our story feeds on social media, give everybody a rundown what the fuck you're doing down there, and what let's talk about the first place you ate and the last place you ate.
I mean, man, I say this with all truth. Mosquito Supper Club, top 10 in my fucking list. Like, out of all the places I've ever dined, Supper Club is up there, probably number 5. The whole freaking experience was awesome. I mean, the setting, you walk into an old style house, you know, they've got like a little bar on one side, and then they've got some individual seating, but they have 2 big community tables, which are actually awesome. Like, I wish more places brought back community style dining, because that was like so much fun, man. There was 11 of us at the table, and everybody talked with everybody. Like, there weren't those like shy people who joined the community table that like didn't participate. And it was a vibe. Like, there was like a bachelor party group, which seemed pretty cool. And then just a bunch of different individuals from all over the place. And that fucking dinner was out of this world good. Like, there wasn't one thing that I was like, that was an afterthought. Like, it was fucking banging.
I mean, they're up for a James Beard, I believe, and they may even have brought home the bacon last year, or maybe it'll be this year for them in the Southeast region. But what you just described, from the community table to like the vibe in the restaurant being that small, quaint, it reminds you of like your travels, you know, it kind of, your pictures and things of that nature. It looks like Rosetta in Mexico City, or just about every fucking restaurant in Europe. And it kind of channels that homey vibe, both in the cooking, but also in the atmosphere. And then it resonates on the plate, so like when they bring it out in a cast iron bowl and then they're ladling it into your soup for you, it's like, this is what, it reminds you of what our grandmothers used to cook for us, or something of that nature. It's got that extra butter, but also they cook with that passion, as if you are a guest in their home, which obviously you're a guest in their restaurant home, but that's what it feels like. And so that meal looked like an absolute fucking banger, Chris.
Dude,
bangers.
I mean, don't, like, Southern hospitality is real. And that was the definition of it. And sitting at a table, you really did think like you had gone over to a friend's house and they just invited a bunch of random people over for dinner. But dude, that crawfish bisque, holy shit. Like, the crawfish had stuffed crab in the heads that was just sitting in the bisque. So you just scooped that out with your finger, and it was fucking so good. But
wait, so you just finger banged your soup?
Yeah, so like
Nice.
They had like the crawfish tail meat and stuff in the bisque, like that was pulled out of the shell, and they just had the crawfish head stuffed with crab meat, and that was, I mean, I don't even know what to say. But dude, the crabs were fucking so good over that like sweet pea rice. That was fucking dynamite. But what was funny was like when the dessert came out, everybody was like, I'm not like the biggest dessert fan or whatever. And I was like, y'all are idiots. But then they had this strawberry and buttermilk swirl ice cream. That was fucking so good. Like, don't sleep on that ice cream. It was incredible. And they had a little cute alligator cookie. So that was fun.
A cute alligator cookie?
Yeah. But the smoked fish dip and the oysters down here, I mean, the oysters down here are just better than, wherever you get them. Those East Coast, West Coast things, fuck them. I like the oysters from the Gulf.
I mean, Chris, I feel like the Gulf oysters raw, it's like kind of like trying to swallow a big loogie that you couldn't get, spit out, or like you're in the car or whatever when you eat them raw. But the Gulf oyster is perfect for the char grill because they shrivel up like Costanza in cold water. And so like when you top them with a little butter, a little, herbs, maybe a little it's great. But at the same time, you're a braver man than I. You've also put down a lot more loads than I have. So I'm kudos to you on that one. Okay, let's keep going. So obviously you hit up probably what is now, it's not Speakeasy, but it's highly regarded as one of the best restaurants in New Orleans, fuck Brennan's. Commander's Palace is for the old blue hairs. You hit Mosquito, but that's not where it stopped. You kept the party train going. What was the next? Give me your power rankings. What was next on the list?
I mean, next on the list, like, so I wanted a muffalata fix, and I wanted to go to the one place, like, I wanted to go to
Central Grocery?
Yeah, but like apparently it's shut down right now.
Yeah, they were doing renovations when we were there last March or last April for St. Patty's.
Yeah, and it's still shut down. So anyways, like I went to Koshan Butcher and grabbed one there. And I mean, it scratched my itch. It was good. It was good. But it wasn't like it's probably not close to that Central Grocery one, but you do what you can. So that was good and all, but like yesterday I went to Turkey and the Wolf, and that exceeded my expectations.
Really?
Like,
Oh, I love to hear it. Mason is such a great person, man.
yeah, and like the whole thing, it's not like, I feel like some of those type restaurants and stuff, they're trying to be something they're not, and this place is just being what it is, like the whole vibe of it, like Ninja Turtles, sheets everywhere, just like it's fucking fantastic. And let me tell you, like that sandwich, I could eat that every week. Like, did you have the collard melt?
The collard melt, the fried bologna with the barbecue chips. I mean, I don't know if you were able to get me that McDonald's plate to go, but I love how, not only has he created like a fun little nostalgic, like, kind of more another one of those cooking in someone's homes because it's just kind of randomly off a street or whatever. But Mason is such a great person in that community. He obviously, his book has done numbers. Shout out to Weiss for getting that for my birthday for me. But, he's come out here and done pop-ups. He's been on Good Morning America, but he's used his platform for good, like something we need to try to do even more than we can. Because he does everything he can. He tries to give back to his community. He's so thankful and he's so appreciative, and he shows it in all that he does. It makes you want to support him. It makes you want to go eat those dank, gluttonous stoner snacks even more often because of what he does with the money that you give him for that sandwich.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, there's locals go there all the time. Like, it's not just some touristy spot.
No.
And the great thing about that sandwich, because when I was picturing it, I was like, a collard green melt, man, this isn't like, how's this going to hold up? And the integrity of that sandwich, it held up. Like, it was every bite, nothing was falling out. It was a little messy, but in the end, like one of the best melts I've ever had. And the frozen margarita that I had with it with some Mountain Dew in it, that knocked my socks off. I could have had 6 of those.
Was that the best frozen drink you had this weekend?
I mean, I don't know. The perp drink's pretty good at Lafitte's.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. And that's what I wanted to use as a segue. So you took the staff, you took your team to Lafitte's. What a great, that is a team building experience, CB. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, somebody was like, man, where should we go get a drink today? And I was like, well, I happen to know a spot where you can get the best daiquiri in town. And I sent them it and they were like, oh, fuck yeah, let's all go there. And so everybody went, we all got purple drinks, and they were just over the moon about it. And then like we were sucking them down and they're like, whoa, these are a little strong. You can't really taste it. I was like, yeah, be warned, if you go back for your second one, I'm not liable for any falls or spills.
Okay, so for those that don't know or haven't been to New Orleans, we've got a whole list for you. But one of the majors that you have to hit is it's called Lafitte's Black Shop. It's a bar that's on the tail end of the French Quarter on your way towards Frenchman Street. And they have these purple drinks. And like Chris said, they're lethal. And the best way to compare it, obviously they come in a styrofoam cup that are a bigger portion size than what I'm about to use it as a metaphor, but think of it as all 3 Rio margaritas in one drink. You know how you can only have 3 margaritas at the Rio in Denver? Terrible food, great margaritas. Well, the octane of those 3 margaritas that they cap you at, that's one Lafitte's purple drink. And so you can have as many purple drinks as you fucking want in New Orleans. They don't give a shit. But it's like an excellent meetup spot. It's literally oldest bar in America, I think, or something of that nature. And they just have these purple frozen drink machines sitting next to like rocks that are 300 years old. Like the Spanish Armada fucking built this place to like put stuff together, and now it's just this dank ass bar. So if you are going to New Orleans, there's very few places in the French Quarter that we're going to like actively recommend. This is 1A. Fuck your hand grenades and your hurricanes. Purple drinks is where you start the party.
And I mean, like, you can't even taste the booze, which is why they're even more lethal. But like, I mean, it's $10 for a cup that will get you drunk. It's the best deal.
It's awesome. Okay, so you hit Turkey and the Wolf, you hit Mosquito Supper Club, you grabbed a purple drink. Have you gotten your fix of all your seafood? Have you gotten your po' boy yet? Where are we going on your last day in town?
Yeah, that's what I'm leaving with a bang. I'm going to go get a po' boy from one of your favorite spots.
Ooh, which one? Parkway, Domalices, Gus's?
Well, you tell me which one should I go to today? If you were okay, yep, that's where I was going to go. So
Parasols is also good. I like their gumbo, and you can usually buy a bag of cocaine from the staff there. But since you're flying out of town, you can just go to Domalices. There's a 22% chance you run into one of those mouth-breathing Manning family members. But at the same time, great food, unbelievable Bart's root beer. You got to go half and half. I don't know if they have blue crab, so if they don't, go shrimp, fried oyster. I like mine with cocktail sauce and hot sauce, no mayo. But that's also something we got to talk about with Turkey and the Wolf. The mayo levels, I mean, I swear to God, Mason probably uses Duke's for lube. I mean, he loves that shit. But that's how I dress my po' boy. Everything except for mayo, add hot sauce.
Okay, I go with the mayo on the po' boy and then just douse it in hot sauce. But then obviously I couldn't come down here and not get some music. So last night after Lafitte's, I segued straight from Lafitte's into Maple Leaf Bar. And boy, I didn't realize, I had pounded things, and then I had a beer, and then I got to the bar and I tossed back a couple of vodka sodas and I was lit. But that Maple Leaf Bar is like an old staple here, and George Porter, like, I forget how great it is, like the small music venues where it's cheap, like this ticket cost me 15 bones. And then, I try to run up a fucking bar bill to save my life, but it was only like $20 and I must have had 6 drinks. I love it.
Dude, it is. I mean, it's a tourist-based town, so they don't have to bleed anybody dry unless you go to somewhere like Commander's or Brennan's or something like that. Those nice Galatoirs restaurants. You can get away with murder in that town, and you can eat cheaply. Like, if you want to, you just go on the other side of I can't remember the street with the middle ground is what they call it down there. But like, what separates Frenchmen from the French Quarter? You go get Melba's. You can get a cup of fucking gumbo for like $3. You can get like a Popeye's chicken wrap for like $2 from a street vendor. Like, everywhere you go, food and booze can be moderately priced. If like Fat Harry's uptown, oh my God, $2 beers like almost every fucking day, except for maybe like Saturdays of Tulane sporting events. I mean, I love New Orleans, but like you said, you got to get out of that town. If you're still there on a Monday or Tuesday after a long haul, Chris, you're just asking for trouble.
Dude, you should have seen it though. The fire alarm in my hotel went off the other morning at like 4:45 a.m. You should have seen people down the lobby. It looked like a fucking disaster.
You should have just gone to the Hustler Club when the alarm went off. You'll get a little titties in the face.
But the funny thing is, man, is shit. You have lunch down here, you have a sandwich, and you're pretty much good for the rest of the day.
Yeah, the average person, I mean, doesn't eat 5 times a day like we do just because we're stoned all the time. So you really can. Like, the bread on that sandwich, and a po' boy's the size of fucking AJ's, little Arthur's, it can easily hold the average human over. And if you get to, Central Grocery and you get a muffalata, That thing is like this. It feeds a family of 4 just off cold cuts and olive spread. So you really can stretch it. Now, I guess the one thing that's cliche is, did you hit Cafe Du Monde?
Yeah, some people in my group wanted to go there for beignets this morning, so we hit it up. It's still charming, you know.
Yeah, how was the line?
It actually wasn't bad at all this morning.
That's that Tuesday vibe. You go on Saturday and it's fucking dick to
Around the
ass
block,
for
yeah.
90 minutes. Yeah. I mean, okay, so you clipped just about everything, Chris. The only thing you didn't do from the full New Orleans experience, I'd say you probably should have gone to the Rusty Nail, and you probably should have gotten shanked or shot or, shaken down for, some money from one of the street vendors. But besides that, you hit all the big ones.
Yeah, and I'm still alive, so I feel good about this.
Yeah, you really didn't do the full New Orleans experience if you come back alive. You look like you're batting about 60% though. Batteries will get charged. And then Thursday, Chris, is the fucking holidays. We've got 420 Fest coming up.
Goodness. What's happening? What's happening for that?
So I'm glad you asked. There's obviously the big party that's going down at Civic Center Park, but there's a litany of other smaller little events. Events at places like Tetra and Ant Life. Last year we did Tetra, and then we caught the baseball game before going over to the Mile High 420 Fest. This year, I believe Rick Ross will be the headliner. We're not going to do the whole VIP thing. We'll do some man on the street, go see some of our friends that are vendors. But it's exhausting trying to stay down there the whole time. So you'll see us for a little bit here and there, but nothing terribly crazy is my goal. But Chris, I mean, we've tried to give everybody, for our community and for those in Colorado that have the ability and the luxury to smoke cannabis however they see fit, whenever they see fit, and they can buy it wherever they want. 420 is more of a celebratory extra bong at home, like let's get extra ripped. It's not let's go downtown and celebrate a parade like a St. Patrick's Day. So while thousands of people will descend upon Denver, a lot of those people are coming from outside the city. Your Nebraskans, your Kansans, your bachelor parties that are at community tables that want to experience the cannabis, tourism kind of vibe. But for the locals, it's more of let's just get some really dank food and enjoy this from the confines of our house. And luckily for everybody, if you haven't seen it, we are spread across the newspapers right now. You would have thought we're like Joe Pa's offensive coordinator. But luckily it's been for all the right reasons. We've been able to showcase some really great restaurants, both with the Denver Post, Denver Westward, and 5280 magazine. So there's quite literally, we turned every stone. We uncovered everything. I don't know what else to say besides we gave you something for every appetite and in every fucking neighborhood in this city.
And it's our favorite. So
we stand by every single one on that list.
I full-heartedly believe that we threw out some good ones.
Yeah, obviously there's no, there's not just one way to skin a cat or whatever the saying may be. There's not just one taco place. And so while we all know and everybody loves Kike's, and I'm sure they'll have a line wrapped around the truck on Thursday, we try to give you 2 or 3 other great taco spots. La Diabla, if you are downtown. Tacos Velouz, if you're north. La Bocaza out east. And then El Simpa to the south. We tried to give you something for every occasion. And so I think everybody should be happy, and you can check out those lists on Denver Post's website, as well as on Denver Westward's website and 5280 Magazine's website.
Yeah, do it.
Is there any food you're craving when you get home?
Nah, man, I might fast for a day.
I
feel like I've got a lot of bread and booze that's just really gravitating toward my center region. I've had to unbutton the belt a few times down here.
Loosen it up. Use a Cutco knife to create a new hole.
Right, because you're stuffed, but at the same time, you can't leave a bite of a sandwich behind. You just can't. You can't do it.
No, not when they taste that good and when that bread is so fresh. Chris, speaking of fresh and dank breads and eats, I teed off in Colorado Springs and the surrounding small communities this
That
weekend.
looked fun.
Dude, we had a big time. It was a little bit more wholesome of a weekend. We didn't get into a bag of anything crazy, just, smoked some flower, enjoyed some edibles, played some games and got outside, did some nature walks. I think some people call it hiking. I don't hike, so I did a brief nature walk. Took the dogs, let them stretch their legs, enjoyed the birds chirping kind of shit.
How was did you learn about dinosaurs?
Oh my God, Chris. Okay, so there's this small community called Woodland Park. And then our friends, there's a company called Snowfall, and they have like homes that you can rent across the state, 420 friendly type locations. And so we grabbed one of those in this small, quaint town outside of Manitou. And so in this town, Woodland Park, unbelievably quaint. Like you can walk the whole strip. You can literally, there's a dinosaur resource center smack dab in the middle of the fucking town. And so obviously we all know that dinosaurs have been discovered across Colorado. You can find it at your local golf course. Well, they have a resource center with people that look like the cast from Stranger Things that are willing to take you on guides through. Obviously, it's not like full build outs. Like here's a fucking T-Rex we found in Greeley, but what it is it's a bunch of like remakes, and then it shows them the animals like still like the bones that are still fossilized in like larger rocks. So they have that, and then they show the model above it. I learned so many new species. Like there's something called like an Alcerosaurus, and it's fucking huge, Chris. They have a whole room dedicated to sharks, and then dinosaurs that were bigger than sharks, and then large fucking alligators that had legs and arms the size of they looked like kayaking paddles. They were so big, Chris. It is awesome. So, and it's a very wholesome community up there. Manitou is kind of like the progressive community outside of Colorado Springs. So if you don't like the Klan or, a lot of people
Focus on the family.
Yeah. If you wanted to find, maybe vegetarian friendly restaurants or crunchier crowds, Manitou is probably that space. And then Woodland Park gets a little more red where it's a little more nicer homes, but Manitou is really nice, little fun, quaint area. So these little offshoots of Colorado Springs are a lot more friendly and inviting than I originally thought. Of course, you're going to see your casual, fuck Joe Biden signs flying outside of houses and people with testicles hanging from their trucks. But you're going to find that in all small towns across Colorado and America. I mean, fuck, we grew up in small town America. So getting to see, what Colorado small towns are about is really neat. And Manitou is a really cool one. They have a bunch of dead bars, dead themed like restaurants, and then like a fucking speakeasy bar that's in the back of a comic book store. It's really we had a lot of fun. It was really cool.
Oh yeah. Y'all hit up an arcade too, didn't you?
Yeah. So in Manitou, they have this thing called the Penny Arcade, which is like all throwback games from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, back when people didn't have rights. And so they brought all these games and they put them kind of under an overhang and in these offshoots. I'm not an Atlantic City guy, but it reminds me of what like Atlantic City would look like, or like the place where Tom Hanks got big and big. That's exactly the best. It's quite literally like that. And so it's a great, day trip if you have the kids for the weekend. Shout out to our divorced parents. We know there's a lot of y'all. But at the same time, it's a great place if you're just looking to kill a day, or maybe your significant other likes to hike and wanted to do the Manitou incline. Break up with them if they do that. You can take, your happy ass over to the Penny Arcade, walk out, grab a beer. You can grab a quick sub or Sammy. Manitou's a pretty fun little vibe, even if you are an outdoors person, which I am not, but it's great for that kind of scene if you're looking for it. Very wholesome weekend. I can't express it enough.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
No
we both had good weekends.
Yeah, I mean, different sides of the coin for sure, which is kind of ironic, but I love hearing you complain about the bread and the alcohol. It reminds me of just 3 weeks ago when I was like, my feet are swollen. So you may be coming back with a little pre-gout yourself, Chris.
Yeah, if we got to find a sponsor that has medicine for gout, I think we would thrive in that space.
Shout out, hey, Pfizer, give us a holler. We're both vaccinated. We're not big believers on like taking pharmaceuticals. We're kind of in that natural state if we can help it. But at the same time, if someone's got some like, preventative gout measures that they could holler at us. And if it's one of these fucking crunchy crystal people that's like, oh, take so much tincture of this and don't forget your lion's mane, I will beat your ass. But if Pfizer wants to pay us to be guinea pigs for some pre-gout medication or pre-diabetes medication so that we don't go to heaven in pieces, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I would love it.
Well, Chris, I think that's a good recap of what your weekend is and what mine was. We have a doozy of an episode dropping Thursday. We're going to have a couple different of our friends from the cannabis industry joining us to talk about the 420 vibes. They'll all be like little 5-10 minute poppers. Not to be confused with the poppers Chris probably ran into last night, but at the same time, just little fun little bursts and conversations and gauge the temperature of the industry. So we look forward to celebrating the holidays with everybody. I'm going to be on my couch at 420, smoking weed and eating chicken wings. But yeah, shout out to King of Wings. But at the same time, we hope everybody has a great week. Chris, safe travels, my friend. Anything you need to let everybody know before we leave?
Nah, but visit New Orleans.
Yeah, NOLA tourism. That's a great sign off. Our normal sign off is stay high, stay hungry. We'll have new content, new t-shirts and everything coming at you in the coming days. Cheers, y'all.